Okay, so we're looking at this problem. This is down here. This is f of x, okay, that we're dealing with. And it's telling us to take f of x and do this to it. Okay, so let's see what happens. Let's think about it. What this is telling you to do is to come up with the new graph, the g, which is different than the f. What do? I take the old f function, which is just this, everything goes to 2, but I'm carving everything in half before I put it in there and assign it to 2. Alright, so everything from -3 to +3, what f does is it, so any number between -3 and +3 on the x-axis, okay, this part down here, it goes into the f function. And then what does the f function do? It takes those numbers and it sends them all to the number 2, and that's the height. So that goes up to 2, that goes up to 2. So any number from that black line down there goes up to the height of 2. Okay? Now, what is the g function going to do? It's going to take these numbers that we put into it, alright, and we don't know what the numbers are yet, but it's going to take some numbers, and what's it going to do? We're going to take half of the number first. Alright, whatever the number you give me, I'm going to take half of it immediately, and then I'm going to put it into the f function to where it will take those numbers from -3 to +3, and it'll send those to 2. But it's half of those numbers. Okay, so what number would need to go in to this box right here to where when I go into the f function I have the same thing as -3? Well, I'm going to take half the number, so it would have to be -6. So -6 goes in, and when -6 goes in, it's the same thing as -3 going into the old function, because it's half of the old inputs. So -6 has to go in to be like -3 going in. Okay, so instead of it being at -3 right here, we're actually going to start at -6. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6. And that point is still going to be sent to 2, right, as it was before. But it didn't occur at -3. The leftmost point, which was -3 in the old f graph, is -6 in the g graph. Why? Because -6 going into the g function goes in right there, and now we get half of -6, and half of -6 is -3, and that would be like -3 going in the old function. Alright, so what's it basically going to do? You can kind of see what's going to happen here. Same thing's going to happen over here. All I have to do is kind of take the negative away. If +6 goes in, that's going to be the same thing as +3 going in. And +3 was the old right endpoint. So now the new right endpoint is going to be at +6. Alright, but everything else is going to stay the same, meaning the width. It's just going to connect those two, because every point between -3 and +3 on the old graph, right, that was our old domain, all those points were sent to 2. Well, now -6 and +6 are the same place that these things got kind of sent to, because now it's, half of -6 is the old -3, half of +6 is the old +3. So everything's being stretched out, but everything's being sent to 2. So this number, like for instance -1, what number do I need to plug into here to be the same as -1 in the old graph? It has to be -2, because half of -2 is -1. So -2 is right beside it. It's basically everything's being doubled. So this entire little line segment is just going to be stretched out until it hits at -6 and +6. So ultimately, what's the answer of this thing going to be? It's going to be a little line segment. Let me change this to have a little circle dot on there on the ends. and it's going to go from, and let me do red like I was doing before, and it's going to go from -6 to +6. 4, 5, 6. And that's what the new graph's going to look like. Alright, so let's look at which one has that look to it. Let's see, that one looks too far. Alright, and then I noticed nothing was happening to F, so this one's the one I think is going to be, yeah, -6 to +6. This is the one, which I think that was A. But notice nothing happens to F, like this is like double, it's higher. Alright, so there's nothing happening after we alter the input, so nothing's going to happen to the y coordinates. Alright, likewise, this goes a little bit too far, that's an 8. And then, you know, we're only going to go out half. Alright, I mean, we're only going to go out to basically double. Alright, that looks like nothing happened, nothing changed. Oh, we know it did, it went out 1. But that's, we have to go to -6 and +6 to get the old -3 and +6, because again, half of -6 and +6 are those two 3s. So that's going to be our answer.